Hey everyone, Kuuipa1207. Um, gonna be doing this look today. I called it Sweet as Candy because I pretty much used the Wet n Wild palette, Sweet as Candy, and that's pretty much all I use for eyeshadow. As always, start off with a good primer. I like to use Urban Decay Primer Potion. I also recommend Facebook 2 Shadow Insurance, MAC paint pots, anything you guys prefer to use for your eyeshadow primer or for your eyeshadow base, just something that will give your eyeshadow something to stick to and to hold on to throughout the day. I applied it using my fingers to my upper lid, all the way down, all the way from my lash line up to my brow, and then I applied it along my lower lash line, all the way along it from inner corner to outer corner. And like I said, we're going to be using the Wet n Wild Color Icon Eyeshadow Trio. The colors is called Sweet as Candy. I used the sponge applicator and the brush applicator that came with the product, just because I know not everybody can afford to go out and get brushes, especially with how the economy is right now. So all you need to do, just use the sponge applicator, get you a good amount onto the sponge applicator, and then lightly, tap it onto your lid, and you'll want to focus most of the color at the bottom of your lid, right on your lash line, and then just lightly blend it up towards your crease. The next color we're going to use is the crease color that comes in the palette. I started out applying it with the sponge applicator, and I started from the outer corner and applied the color moving inwards. And as I was moving inwards, I made sure to kind of point my sponge applicator, try to use the tip of it as I went into the inner corner of my eye, just so in that way I didn't have too thick of a line. I had to, if you look at how I'm applying it right now, I started at the outer corner and started with a thick line, and then as I went towards the inner corner of my eye through my crease, that line eventually got thinner. So it's kind of like I applied it into a triangle shape through my crease. I was noticing that when I had applied it with the sponge applicator, it was a bit harder to blend, so that's when I went and grabbed the brush that came with the product and began to apply it with the brush and then blend it out. I will go ahead and make a note. The brush is very good for applying it and for blending out the color, however it does shed a lot. So that's my only dislike about the brush that comes with it. Once you get it all blended in with the lid color and blend it up towards your brow bone, you'll want to apply the highlight color, which is also the brow bone color, directly underneath your brow, and then blend it down towards the crease color. I just used the sponge tip applicator, and between colors what I would do was kind of wipe one of the sides on a paper towel to get off any extra color, like from the crease color or from the eyelid color. And that was pretty much all I did for the upper lid. For the lower lash line, I just wanted to add a bit of definition along my lower lash line. So what I did was I took the absolute tip of the applicator, got a bit of crease color onto it, and then went from the outer corner to the inner corner of my eye and only applied it about 3/4 of the way. Again, I did the same technique as I did with my crease, where I applied it thicker towards the outer edge and then kind of went thinner towards the inner edge. You may notice, if some of you have really sensitive eyes or sensitive skin, like you're sensitive to the touch, the tip of the applicator may be a bit harsh for your eye area, so you may want to use something else like a Q-tip, or if you have a smudge brush or something, you can use that to apply it to your lower lash line. And that was pretty much all that I did for eye makeup as far as eyeshadow is concerned. From there on, I went ahead and did the rest of my makeup. I applied my concealer, which I used my fingers and then blended it out. And then I went on to my foundation, which I used a wedge sponge. I know there's no-nos, there's the concerns that you shouldn't use wedge sponges. I have no issue with it because I buy a big old bag of wedge sponges. But I applied my liquid foundation with the wedge sponge, blended it out, made sure to get it into my hairline so I didn't look too toned. I set my foundation with a light translucent powder because my foundation was a liquid foundation. Wanted to make sure that it was set with the powder so it wouldn't smudge or budge or smear around during the day. I then went ahead and applied contour. Contouring is kind of a personal choice. I like to contour. If you don't feel the need to contour, by all means, it's not necessary. Then I applied a blush, which I used a light peach color. It's called Nuance by MAC. And for a highlight, for a cheek highlight, I used MAC's mineralized skin finish in Soft and Gentle, just to kind of give me give my skin a light glow. Like if you notice during the summertime, most people will have like a soft glow to their skin. That's kind of what I was doing that for. Once I got my foundation, my face makeup all done, I went ahead and filled in my brows. And for my brows, I used a MAC eyeshadow. I believe the color is Swiss Chocolate. I can't recall it at this time, but I'll be sure to, or actually it said it in the video, so never mind. But whenever I fill in my brows, I always try to use short light strokes. I don't want to do anything that's too heavy. And then applied my mascara. I did 2 coats on my upper lashes and then 1 coat on my lower lashes. And the reason I did it that way is because I always like my upper lashes to be more pronounced than my lower ones unless I'm going for a very dramatic look, like a smoky look. But because this was just a very soft, natural, neutral look, I wanted to keep a softer side of it. Once my mascara was done, the last thing that I always tend to do whenever I do my makeup is my lips. And I went ahead and lined my lips with Wet n Wild's. It's actually an older version. It's a cream liner. But when I looked on Wet n Wild's website now, it looks like they've changed the product and they now have color icon. But the color is still the same. It's number 666. Go figure. And the color name is Brandy Wine. But I lined my lips, upper and lower lips, and filled it in too with the lip liner color. I didn't apply any lipstick. All lip color is pretty much just the liner, and I filled it in. Once that was done, I then, last but not least, applied lip gloss, which I had used Hard Candy Mouthing Off Sheer Lip Shine. And the color is number 213, also known as Gossip. And that pretty much completes the look. That was pretty much it. Again, it's just a very soft, easy look. Those of you who don't like to wear a lot of makeup to work, this could definitely pass for work-appropriate makeup. In my opinion, it could be an awesome look for school, for those of you, teenagers, even middle school. I don't know what the average age is now for for when girls start wearing makeup, but if you are in middle school, I mean, I would let my daughter wear makeup like this if she were in middle school, because again, it's just very soft and very natural, and it's also, for the most part, for the eyeshadow, it's pretty affordable, and the lips. But yeah, hope you guys like it. That's it. If you want to check out more pictures, it'll be on my website, and the product lists will also be on my website as well. Hope you guys like it. Bye.